before you came here, forgetting anything about Reconnect, actually forgetting anything about necessarily what you were looking for in this, but what were you looking for?
I was looking for a way to cope with the pressures that I was under. I was looking for a way to feel okay in the face of a challenging time.
And specifically with this, what did you think about it?
I'll be honest, I think coming here I thought it's worth a try. I don't think I had a direct expectation of what it would be. I knew quite a lot about it, but I didn't know how I would engage with it. And I definitely, I came in with a sense of it's worth a go.
And then having this experience, what words would you like to put to that?
I think the title of the weekend, Reconnect, is really good branding because I do feel like that's what I've been able to do, is to reconnect to myself and to some innate wisdom or some like ever-present awareness of myself that I think had got lost in the busyness of and the challenge and the pressure and all those things. And I think that came in multiple ways through like the workshops that we did, the exercises, and Emma leading us, but also through the connection with people here, the sort of quite intense, quite open, quite vulnerable time with people and being very present, and also being fed and being in a beautiful place. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's luxury, but actually it's really loving. It's really wonderful to be somewhere where I was feeling looked after, and where I didn't have to perform getting it right. I could just struggle with it, or have moments of, oh yeah, that makes sense, or both at the same time. Like, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Like, all are going on in me at the same time. So yeah, I think like as I'm trying to think of a word to sum it up, like reconnect is the word, because that is what I had experienced from it.
Personal development courses they conjure up a certain image, don't they, in the mind. So for someone thinking about this as a personal development course, what would you say?
So when I think of personal development courses or personal development offerings, I think of techniques and strategies and 5 steps to something, and I think there can be gems in those, they can be helpful, there can be, like, often I experience them as like a very similar thing repackaged in different ways, and that can speak to different people, and it's not to do them down. But this wasn't that. This was like not layering solutions on top, but calming down our need for solutions and instead just being. And I think that's really powerful. And uncomfortable at times, where you're like, yeah, but what's the technique? But how do I do this? But it's so much more powerful, more translatable into life, because it's not about saying, oh, I must remember to do these 5 things to steps to enlightenment or whatever. It's about, like, I'm hoping it's easier to remember to be me than it is to remember to do stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a personal development course, because it's not.
To imagine you're now speaking to yourself just before the course, and you're on the fence. You don't know whether you're going to come or not. What would you like to say to yourself?
It's worth it just for the food. And then you get all these other wonderful things on top, like great connection with people and a peaceful place to stay and this really wonderful work that we do on ourselves. But yeah, if you're on the fence about it, it's genuinely worth it just for the food.